out object. Mhm. Okay, so this one says, the woman who lives next door to me is a doctor. The woman lives next door to me. Mm. Who is the woman and she is the subject? And this one says, where are the keys that were on the table, or the keys which were on the table? Mhm. So here it says that in the sentence represents the keys. That represents the keys, meaning the keys are the subject. Now, here, when, who, that, and which are subjects, we cannot leave them out. Uh, if our relative clause includes who, that, and which as subjects, we cannot leave them out. Meaning, by what do we mean by as subjects? Meaning, as the doer of the action. Meaning, they are the ones who perform the action. They are the ones that uh, are the main character of our sentence. Meaning, they do the action we're talking about. For example, the woman, here we see that the woman is the subject. She is the one who lives next door to me, and she's a doctor. So here, our woman is the doer. And what does she do? She lives next door to me. She's a doctor. So, meaning here, if our relative clause, who, that, and which is the subject, we cannot leave them out. Mhm. But if who, that, and which are objects, we can leave them out in a sentence. So we don't necessarily have, we cannot use them if they are an object, but if they are a subject, we cannot leave them out. For example, if the first sentence, for example, where are the keys that were on the table? If it does not have that, for example, if I said, where are the keys on the table, for example, meaning the keys are no longer the subject. They are now, they're no longer a subject because they don't have that to emphasize that what I am looking for is mainly the key. But if they have that, it makes it a subject, meaning now my noun, for example, my noun is now the subject or is now the doer of the action. My subject is now what's doing the action that I'm talking about. Or my noun is now the main character, the thing that stands out in my sentence. So here it says, sometimes who, that, or which is the object of the verb. For example, the woman who I wanted to see was away on holiday. Now, here, this is where the difference comes in. The woman who I wanted to see was away on holiday. Now, here we see that the woman is no longer our subject. She is the object because the action, which is see, uh, is happening to her, but not by her. She is not doing the seeing, but she's being seen by me or by someone else. Meaning now she's the object of our verb. So sometimes we can leave out our relative clause, who, that, or which, in a case like this. For example, if I say, the woman who I wanted to see was away on holiday, I could just say, I wanted to see her, but she was on holiday. See, now I left who because she's not the subject, but she's the object. So this is where we can leave out who, that, and which. If our relative clause is not a subject but an object, we can leave it out. But if they are the subject and not the object, we cannot leave out who, that, and which. Mhm. Here it says, when who, that, or which is the object, you can live it out. So you can say, the woman who I wanted to see was away, or the woman who I wanted to see was on holiday. Did you find the keys you lost, or the keys that you lost? The dress Lisa bought doesn't fit her very well, or the dress that Lisa bought does not fit her very well. Is there anything I can do, or anything that I can do? Mm. Note that we say the keys you lost, or not the keys you lost them, because them is still keys, so you cannot use both in a sentence. This is why we can't say the girl she, the boy he, the cow it, because it and she is the same. Mm. Now here it says, note the position of prepositions. Do you remember what prepositions are? To, in, for, on, where, war, yeah, those kind of things. So prepositions are used to show the position of our objects or our nouns and things like that. Mhm. Do, oh, Tom. Tom is talking to a woman. Do you know her? Which are two sentences. Now, this one says, do you know the woman Tom is talking to? Okay, so here, remember we said relative clauses they explain more on a sentence. So sometimes when we use prepositions to join two sentences, right? To make it one. So we're joining two sentences to make it one sentence. For example, Tom is talking to a woman. It can be an independent sentence. Do you know her? It's an independent sentence. So remember, prepositions are used to join two sentences, but both those sentences, one has to be independent and one has to be dependent for it to be able to be joined together to make one sentence. This is where it says it's not possible to join two uh, dependent sentences. They wouldn't make sense. This is why we need one to be dependent on the other. Another one needs to be dependent, able to stand on its own, and the other sentence needs to have a little bit of an inability to stand on its own. For example, if someone just comes to you and says, "Do you know her?" It doesn't make sense. Who do I know? Like it raises a lot of questions. What are you talking about? Who? Where? How? What? But if someone says Tom is talking to a woman, it's very clear. It doesn't need questions. We can see, oh, so Tom is talking to a woman. But if somebody just comes and says, "Do you know her?" Do I know who? What are you talking about? See, it raises a lot of questions. So this is where prepositions come in to join in those two sentences together. And sometimes those prepositions need relative clauses. They need who, that, which, and whatever. So this is here is where we've joined our sentence. Do you know the woman Tom is talking to? Or you could say, do you know the woman who Tom is talking to? Or that Tom is talking to? Mhm. This one says, I slept in a bed, which is a dependent sentence. It wasn't comfortable, independent. And then we're going to join them together with a preposition and a relative clause. This is where we're going to say, the bed I slept in wasn't comfortable, or the bed that I slept in, or the bed which I slept in wasn't comfortable. And our preposition will be in, and then that will be our relative clause. Mm. So here it was showing us that sometimes we can use both prepositions and relative clauses in a sentence. Mhm. Are this the books you were looking for, or are this the books that you were looking for? Okay, so here, this sentence, are this the books you were looking for? We can also separate them to make them two sentences so that we see how relative clauses were used to join and also prepositions. Uh, are these the books? Okay, so we could say, I have the books, and it can be an independent sentence. And then our dependent sentence will be where you're looking for them. And then when we join together those sentences, it will be, are these the books you were looking for? Or are these the books that or which you were looking for? Mm. And this one says, the man I was sitting next to on the plane talked all the time. Or the man that I was sitting next to, or the man who I was sitting next to, talked all the time. I don't like this. Uh, like when you're in a bus and then someone is talking and talking and talking next to you. Like we don't know each other. For example, we don't know each other. I'm just using public transport. We are meeting for the first time, and you want to talk to me like, oh, don't talk. And unfortunately, it happens to me all the time. Every time I'm in a taxi or a bus, someone I sit next to always wants to talk to me. I don't know why, but every time, especially in the bus, because with taxis, I take taxis if my destination is very short, something like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I take a taxi. But if I'm traveling for 1 hour or more, then I would have to take a bus because buses take longer distances. Every time I'm in a bus, someone who sits next to me always talks all the time. Can you please shut up? I don't know why. And it's never like older people who are women. It's always older men or younger men. The ladies, of course, we talk, but then it's like for a short time where we're just making conversation for a bit and then we. But the men, yeah, I don't know why, but maybe I don't like speaking like all the time. I don't like talking all the time. Sometimes I prefer silence, especially if I'm traveling. I prefer silence. Sometimes I even fall asleep in a taxi. So if somebody's talking to me, it's like, why are you talking? Like, just shut up. Shut up. Like I really don't like talking. Like for example, I don't mind if we are in a taxi and maybe I need to eat something. If somebody's sitting next to me, I buy them something else. For example, if I'm buying apples, I make sure I buy two and then I give to the next person because it feels weird sitting next to someone and then you're eating and they're not eating. But talking, we don't need to talk. Like even if I buy you something, uh, don't talk. Like just say thanks. Let's not talk. Like I don't mind. Keep quiet. I don't want to talk. I'm just buying this to say I don't like eating next to someone who's not eating. It doesn't look good. But I don't need you to make conversation. Like it's not necessary. We don't need to talk. We don't even know each other. I'm just being nice when I'm buying something for you because it feels awkward when I'm buying something and then someone next to me is not buying anything or they're not eating and I am eating it. It doesn't look good. But we don't need to talk. We don't need to talk. It makes things awkward because now we're gonna be talking about things we know nothing about. You're gonna be talking about your neighbors. I don't know your neighbors. Like, why are you telling me about your neighbors? I don't know who your neighbors are. Like, it doesn't make sense. Yeah. Okay. And then this one says, note that we say the books you were looking for, not the books you were looking for them. Because remember, we said them is still the books. So it's not necessary to use your nouns twice. You can't use a noun and a pronoun in the same sentence. it doesn't make sense. It makes your sentence grammatically wrong. You either use nouns or you use pronouns, but not both in the same sentence, really. Because in Naomi, she, you either use a noun or a pronoun. So we don't use both. Mhm. And then it says, we say everything that they said was true, not everything what they said. Okay. I gave her all the money that I had, not all the money what I had. What equals the things that? Hmm? What? What? Oh, oh, oh no, I see. Okay, so that's saying there, where we say everything that they said. The reason why we can't say everything what is because what equals to a thing, not so we can't say everything what they said. We have to say everything that they said because everything is our noun. Could be information, it could be anything. It's a noun, so we cannot say what. It confused me. I was like, what equals the thing? What are you talking about? Only to find that, oh, it's for the first one. It's for the first one. What they said equals to the things that they said. So here, if we say everything what, it's going to sound like we're saying everything, everything they said. So we can't say what because what equals to the thing. So it's going to be like we're saying everything thing because here it says what they said was true, which is equal to the things that they said were true. So if you say everything what, it sounds like you're saying everything. So it's like you're saying everything twice. Mm. Just like here, where it says, I gave her all the money that I had. Uh, what? If you say all the money, what is the thing? Meaning it's going to be like you're saying, I gave her all the money. That's why we say we can't say what, but we say that. Because if you're saying what is thing, which is what you're talking about. So if you're talking about money and you're saying money what, it's like you're saying money, everything thing. Book what? Book. So it doesn't make sense to say something twice in a sentence. Everything. Mm-mm. Yeah. Okay, so we can move on. Oh, now we have our exercises here. In some of these sentences, you need who or that. Correct the sentences where necessary. The woman lives next door is a doctor. Corrected is the woman who lives next door. Did you find the keys you lost? It does not need any correction. It's okay. The people we met last night were very friendly. It's also okay. Or we can add who, or we cannot add who. So it's correct if we don't correct it, and it's correct if we add who. Mhm. The people work in the office are very friendly. The people who work in the office are very friendly. I like the people I work with. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Or you can add who. Both is still okay. What have you done with the money I gave you? Hmm, it's okay. Or we can add that. What have you done with the money that I gave you? Or you can just leave it as it is. It's still correct. What happened to the money was on the table? And what do we need to add to correct it? What happened to the money that was on the table? What's the worst film you've ever seen? Okay. It does not need any corrections. What's the best thing it has ever happened to you? No, it's not okay. It's wrong. We can add that, but we can't leave it as it is. Why? Because the best thing it, it is incorrect. It's not necessary here. It makes the sentence wrong. So we can say we add that. What's the best thing that has ever happened to you? But we can't leave it as it is. It needs a correction. This one. Okay, so this one says, what do you say in these situations? Complete each sentence with a relative clause. Your friend lost some keys. You want to know if he found them. You say, did you find the keys you lost? Okay. A friend is wearing a dress. You like it. You tell her, I like the dress. That. I like the dress that you are wearing. A friend is going to the cinema. You want to know the name of the film. You say, what's the name of the film? That. No, you are going to see. What's the name of the film that you're going to see? You wanted to visit a museum, but it was shut. You tell a friend, the museum was shut. Mhm, mhm. No, that you wanted to visit it. So it has to be that you are the one who wanted to visit the museum, but you're telling your friends that you couldn't go. So you have to tell them why. hmm 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 So it's the museum that I wanted to see was shut, or that I wanted to visit was shut. You invited people to your party. Some of them couldn't come. You tell someone. Some of the people couldn't come. How do you tell this person? hmm Or you could say some of the people that I invited to my party couldn't come. Mhm. Your friend had to do some work. You want to know if she has finished. You say, have you finished the work? It would be, have you finished some of the work that you had to do? Because the first sentence said, your friend had to do some work, meaning she wasn't done. So you wanted to know if that work that she had to do was done. So it'll be, have you finished the work that you had to do? Mhm. You rented a car, it broke down after a few miles. You tell a friend, unfortunately, the car broke down after a few miles. hmm Unfortunately, the car that I rented broke down after a few miles. This sentences all have a relative clause with a preposition. Put the words in the correct order. Did you find looking for you the books were? Did you find the books you were looking for? Now the second one says, we couldn't go, we invited two were the wedding. We couldn't go to. So it's we couldn't go to the wedding we were invited to. What's the name of the hotel about me told you? Told me about. So it's what's the name of the hotel you told me about. Unfortunately, I didn't get applied I the job for. hmm Unfortunately, I didn't get the job I applied for. Did you enjoy you the concert who went? Did you enjoy the concert you went to? Gary is a good person to know. He's on rely can somebody you. Mm-hmm. He's somebody you can rely on. Who were the people with were you in the restaurant yesterday? In the restaurant yesterday. Yay! Put in that or what when necessary. If the sentence is already complete, leave the space empty. I gave her all the money I had. So here you can leave it as it is, or all the money that I had is also correct. Did you hear what they said? Okay. She gives her children everything dash they want. Sorry? Mhm. We can leave it as it is, or we can also add that. If we say she gives her children everything they want, it's still correct. But if we also say she gives her children everything that they want, it's also correct. Mhm. Tell me dash you want, and I'll try to get it for you. Mhm. Tell me what you want, and I'll try to get it for you. Oh, that's nice. Why do you blame me for everything goes wrong? We need to add something. We need to add something. Why do you blame me for everything? Why do you blame me for everything that goes wrong? I won't be able to do much, but I'll do. I can. What? What? I'll do what I can. hmm I won't be able to do much, but I'll do the best I can. hmm that I can, or we can leave it as it is. I'll do the best I can, or I'll do the best that I can. I don't agree with, you said. I don't agree with what you said. I don't trust him. I don't believe everything he says. So we can leave it as it is, or we can say, I don't believe anything that he says. Mhm. Remember, for you to know if something if it's unnecessary to add a relative clause, you need to look at your noun and see if it's the object or the subject. Remember, when it's the subject, we can't leave out our relative clause, that or what. But if it's the object, we can leave it out. For example, I don't trust him. I don't believe anything. Him here, him, I don't trust him. Him is our object, meaning our verb or our action word happens to him. What is this action word? Trust. Trust is a verb, right? It's an action word. It's something we do. And what are we? Who is doing this? I am doing this to someone. Him. So him here, he is our object. So meaning we can leave out our relative clause because he is our object and not our subject. So that's how you can identify where we need to leave the sentence as it is, or if we need to add a relative clause or not. If our noun is an object, we can leave out our relative clause. If our noun is a subject, we can't leave it out because the action, if our noun is a subject, the action is happening to it. But if our noun is an object, he's not doing this. He's not the doer, but he's like the victim. What's happening is happening to him. He's not doing it. It's happening to him. So that's how you can identify if we need to leave out our relative clause or not. Mhm. Let's see. We still have 10 minutes. Oh my god. Oh no. Who's, whom, and where? Let's see if I can do this without studying it. Whose? Study this example situation. When we were driving home, we saw some people standing by the road. Their car had broken down, so we stopped to help them. Okay. We helped some people whose car broke down. Whose equals to their car. Whose? Whose? Okay. We use whose mostly for people. A widow is a woman whose husband is dead. Her husband is dead. I met someone whose brother I went to school with. I went to school with his or her brother. Okay. Compare who and whose. I met a man who knows you. He knows you. I met a man whose sister knows you. His sister knows you. Okay. Ah, okay, so here, the difference between who and whose in the sentences, when I'm looking at the sentence, is with who, uh, here, when we use who, the who we are talking about is the doer of the action, right? He's the one who's doing the action. For example, the man, I met a man who knows you. He's the one who knows who we're talking about. But here in the second sentence, I met a man whose sister, meaning, yes, I'm talking about this man, but he's not the one who knows you. His sister is the one who knows you. So the difference between the two is who, he's the doer of the action, who's someone else, but who's related to this person is doing the thing. So it could be his friend, his colleague, his whatever, as long as they have a relation to him, that's where we're going. If we're talking about someone else who has a relation to our noun, then we're going to use whose. But if our noun is the doer, we use who. Mhm. Do not confuse whose and whose. The pronunciation is the same, but whose is who is or who has. I have a friend who's learning Arabic. Whose meaning who is. I have a friend who's just started learning Arabic. Whose equals who has just started learning Arabic. I have a friend whose sister is learning Arabic. So here, remember, I said whose, meaning we're talking about the person or our noun, but our noun, we're talking about something else related to our noun. So just here, I have a friend. I'm talking about my friend, uh, but I'm talking about my sister's friend who is learning Arabic. Mhm. But if I said I have a friend who's learning Arabic, here I'm talking about my friend, not his sister. But in the last sentence, I'm actually talking about my friend's sister and not my friend. Mm. Whom? Mhm. Whom is possible instead of who when it is the object of the verb. George is a person whom I admire very much. Hmm, okay. You can also use a preposition plus who, to whom, from whom, with whom, etc. It's important to have friends with whom you can relate, oh, relax, not relate. You can relax with them. Mm. Whom is a formal word and we do not often use it in spoken English. We usually prefer to say a person I admire a lot or a person that or who I admire a lot. Actually, yes, this is true. A lot of people do not use whom in spoken English. Even in writing, uh, it's mostly uh, not all the time, but mostly when we're doing grammar exercises where you're going to find yourself using whom. But even when you're writing texts, maybe, or messages, or essays, sometimes it's not all the time where people use whom because whom is it's so formal, and not a lot of people usually use formalities a lot. Like I've seen people formalities are mostly used in situations where maybe I'm talking to my boss. Uh, but even when I'm talking to my boss, I'm not always formal, except if we are in a meeting. Of course, in a meeting, we need to be very formal. Or if I'm writing a proposition maybe for the company or something, there's I need to be professional, and this is where I may use things like whom. But if me and my boss are just having like a conversation, he's asking me, "Oh, how is work?" It's a very relaxing conversation. We don't need to be formal because he's not asking me about things that are professional. He's just asking me about, my colleagues. So this is where I won't be so formal. So whom is a word that people use, but not so much. Not so much. Hmm. Where? We use where in a relative clause to talk about a place. I recently went back to the town where I grew up, meaning I grew up there. The restaurant where we had lunch was near the airport. I would like to live in a place where there is plenty of sunshine. Me too. Where? Yeah, I like sunshine. Like when you wake up and your room is all light and stuff. This is why I like summer. In winter when you wake up, it's dark, like today. Today is very cloudy outside, so there's no sun. I didn't wake up with the sun. It was not a very good morning. It was not a very good morning. I love waking up and having my room all light and stuff. It's very cute. It makes waking up very good. Like you wake up very good and rest. But if there's no light, you're just there like, especially on Monday. Mondays need sunlight. Mondays are already not good days, so they need sunlight. The day, the time, the reason. What is this? We say the day we got married, the year I was born, the last time they met. Okay? etc. I can't meet you on Friday. That's the day I am going away. The last time I saw her, she looked great. You can also use that. The last time that I saw her, she looked great. We say, the reason I'm calling you, the reason she didn't get the job, etc. The reason I'm calling you is to ask for. I don't understand this. Part D. I don't understand. What are we talking about? Can you please scroll all the way up? Why is this here? Scroll. Can you please scroll all the way up for me to see uh, who's, whom, and where? So, well, part D. What? Hmm? Why is it here? Like, I don't understand why it's here. Because like I'm really trying to figure out why it's here, because we learned who's, whom, and where, which are, you know, the, there part three. But this one, why is it here? Why is it here? The day, the time, the reason. The day we got married. No, I really don't get why it's here. The reason I'm calling you, why is this here? No, like really, why is it here? I don't understand. Why is it here? I can't relate. I don't. I thought when I first saw this, I thought they're going to show us how to relate the day, the time, the reason with where, whom, and whose. But I don't see that here. I don't see it here. So I want to know why is this here? What is it for? Okay, maybe if you scroll down, maybe we will see it when we scroll down. Oh no, no, it's not. It's not. Okay, okay, no problem. Okay, let's do the first exercise. Maybe this part will have something to do with. Um, my mom writes detective stories. Okay, you meet these people at a party. So the first one says, my mother writes detective stories. My wife is an English teacher. Hmm. Okay. I own a restaurant. Person four. My ambition is to climb Mount Everest. Girl, we just got married. My parents used to work in a circus. Okay. The next day, you tell a friend about these people. Complete the sentences using who or whose. Ah, okay. I met somebody whose mother writes detective stories. Ah, okay. I see now. I met a man. So for number two, we have to talk about that man. My wife is an English teacher. So how do you tell me you met someone? Oh my God, I almost gave you the answer. How do you tell me about the second man? Do you know what my question was going to be? I was going to say, how do you tell me you met a man whose wife was an English teacher? So that was more like I gave you an answer to your to my question. Like, how do you tell me you met a man whose wife is an English teacher? Okay. I met a woman. Number three, I own a restaurant. Who owns? Owns because because singular. She's one person. Mhm. I met somebody. My ambition is to climb Mount Everest. How do you tell me about that person? hmm hmm I met somebody whose ambition is to climb Mount Everest. I met a couple. No, who, only who. I met a couple who just got married. Mhm. I met a couple who just got married. And then the last one, six. My parents work in a circus. I met somebody mhm, whose whose parents. Mm, Now, the reason why we say I met, the reason why we use whose because for this last person is because we're not talking about him, but we're talking about his parents. So this is where we're gonna use whose. Okay, I'm still worried about D. No, the time, the day, the reason. I really, this it's giving me too much stress. Like I'm thinking about it, like why? What do we need to learn about this? I'm really stressing out. Like I'm stressing out here. Like why is why do they have this here? Like why? Why is it here? It needs to be here for a reason. Why is it here? I don't see why it's here. Hmm. Oh my god. Okay. Oh well, thank you for today. I had a good time as always, and then I'll see you next week Sunday. Have a good week. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Remember, I said I'm very lazy, right? Like I'm a very lazy person who does not like anything physical, like physical exercise, things like that. But because winter is over and it's been getting a bit warmer, I have started walking. 10,000 steps every day. And yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. Like, I walk for, like, when I wake up, I walk for 2 hours, meaning 1 hour to and then 1 hour back. And it's so hard. And I've been doing that for almost a week, but I'm still not used to it. Like every single day, when I wake up the next day, my body is, oh God, it hurts. It hurts. But then I keep walking. And then the next day, when I wake up, I'm still in a bit of pain. So somebody said maybe it may take me like 2 weeks to get used to it because I'm not used to moving around a lot like that. Like for me, every day, when I have walked for 30 minutes straight, I would be like, wow, I just walked a lot. And that's just 30 minutes. So now it's like 1 hour, like 2 hours. The very when I first wake up, I walk for 2 hours. And then throughout the day, while I'm walking, because I still need to walk, maybe to the bathroom, maybe to, outside little walks. But then I have an app that tells me one day, sometimes it's like 12,000 steps, some days it's 15,000 steps. Last week, Wednesday, I walked a lot to a point where my app said I took 18,000 steps. I have never been in so much pain. I have never been in so much pain before. It was worse. But it's actually very good. It's actually very good. I'm not as tired as I used to be when I used to wake up very late in the day with little exercise. So yeah, maybe I might join the gym next year. But for now, no. For now, I'll just get used to my walking. It's very good though. It's very good. It's very good. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for today. All right. See you next week.
거죠. 네.
什么时候月？
给你寄请柬. 물론 뭐 사탕을